So what I thought I would do is also show you the typical process of inserting and removing. And so I've got a model here that you may have had a chance to use while you're at your sizing and fitting process. And so again, this model obviously is designed to help with the this training and fitting, and I could show you some troubleshooting tips as well. Obviously, we recommend that you use lubricant when you're making the insertions. You can actually, as a troubleshooting tip, if you wanted to, you could actually insert some lubricant in there on removal as well. You could actually take off this tip, and you could really insert the tip into the opening of the penis, which is called the meatus, and then you're now within the urethra. You could go like that, and then you could just put a little bit of lubricant in there, and that could help with removal and with insertion. So the device itself is designed to be a tissue spreader, and so there shouldn't be a huge amount of lubricant used. We do recommend you use a little bit of lubricant, but the amount of lubricant we're suggesting is really not that much, and you'll get used to and you'll get better with using this product over time. We actually, you could see there, you could see like kind of the amount of lubricant I'm using there is very, very, very little. It's not necessary to overlube it. And in fact, if you overlube it, sometimes the device doesn't want to stay in as well if you've overlubed it. Clearly, at the start of the process, when you're getting to learn to use the device and your body's getting used to the product, yeah, putting a little bit of extra lube in there is fine. You obviously want to err on the side of comfort. Certainly, as you're getting used to the device, you could choose to kind of put the lubricant all the way around. So that's kind of a way of lubricating the actual device itself. You can, if you want, you could actually lubricant, like I said before, you could actually put some lubricant in there. It's not necessary, although some people do. Like I said, at the start of learning the process, you quite often will use a little bit more lube than you probably will as an experienced user. So one of the things, obviously, I'm right-handed, so this is the way I would suggest you do it. But obviously, it doesn't really matter. You could decide if you want to go one hand versus the other hand. But the idea is that when you're about to do the insertion, you want to kind of straighten the penis and have it kind of pointing away from the body. And when you do this original insertion, you just start the device, and you really just get the device slowly into the opening of the penis, which we call the meatus, and really you make a point of really circulating the device, moving it back and forth in your hand, and really what you're doing is you're lubricating the meatus and the device fully. So once you feel comfortable that you've actually lubricated the device adequately, then the idea is that you start to insert it, and you insert it slowly, and you move it back and forth, turning it. And that process of turning it is designed to be slow. And as it moves through the penis, you'll see that there may or may not be much resistance depending on the size. When you're first starting out, the amount of resistance is actually very, very, very light. It's designed that way. So really what you're doing is you're getting used to using the product. And that insertion, you probably will not see much of a difference as you transition from the head of the penis, which is called the glans penis, to the head of the penis into the penile urethra, which is really the urethra is really through the shaft of the penis. So as you move the device through this transition area, and you can see, like I'll move it up here, you can see the transition area between the head of the penis and the shaft of the penis. As you get closer to your final size, you will feel some resistance or tension. As this is the first size and it's undersized, there will be virtually there's really no friction whatsoever as I insert it. Again, you just kind of work it back and forth. And then once you've gone past this one depth gauge, but not past the second depth gauge, then you could start to think about removing it. So as you hold the device, as you're holding, the penis, you can flip the Contino away from the inserting tool. Sometimes it might be easier just to overlap it and actually put the hold the tab in like this, and then you simply remove the inserting tool with your other hand. If you don't on these undersized devices, if I do that again, and we're using an undersized device, what happens when you insert it and remove it? So again, we'll go through the process of lubricating it and slowly inserting it. Pass one, not pass the other. If you flip it off, flip the tab off the inserting tool and you remove it, there's a tendency with these smaller devices to actually pull the entire device out. That's how little resistance there is. And it's intentional. This is an undersized device, and so that is not this is not where you'd want to have the device sitting in situ or in the penis. This is not going to be an effective place for this device to reduce the amount of leakage. So because this is undersized, we will put this back a little. I could actually just push it back a little bit. And if you've inserted the device, one of the things you've removed it the way we've said, so you've held the tab potentially underneath the penis like this, and then you've fully removed the device. You set it aside. You might put it on a clean towel, or you might even actually put it, if you're in a public urinal, you might just put it right into the case, which is clean. And so one of the important things when you're using the device is that you've secured this lanyard adequately, and that the head of the Contino is actually inside the penile urethra. One of the areas in which we are trying to get the device to sit is actually this transition area between the penile urethra and the glans penis, or the head of the penis. And so that's where we're trying to get it to sit. Because this is undersized, we know that this is going to fall out. One of the other things I wanted to point out is, as you're inserting this thing, and if you are holding the device, or holding the penis with your offhand, and you have your fingertips near the bottom of the penis, you can actually feel the device. You can actually feel the device going in the penis, and that's what you'd feel in real life. That's what you'll feel in this model. And so that it just gives you a little bit of feedback in terms of where the device is going. And then at some point, if you needed to, it's a way you can palpate that device and actually move it out if necessary. If for some reason you needed to move it, you could kind of just, you're essentially almost milking the penis, and you can move that device out. So that's a typical insertion. And then in terms of removal, again, it's relatively simple. One of the things that happens if you've been wearing the device for a while, and assuming this was your final size, sometimes the device will kind of will stay in place. So one of the things we suggest, rather than just pulling it straight out, is actually you push it back a little bit. There's enough whatever you want to call it, push force in the device to actually push it back a little bit. That helps dislodge it, and it actually makes the removal a little bit easier. So now, once at the early stages of using the device, we suggest that you actually wear a diaper or a pad as part of the process. Certainly in the early stages, we know that this, given the size of this device, and we've intentionally undersized it for your use, and it's really more about the progression, we know that this will leak a little bit. It's expected, but really the purpose of that certainly the first week, if not 2 weeks, is really just getting used to the device, getting used to the insertion, the removal, and understanding how the device is impacting your incontinence based on the information you receive from the bladder diarrhea in your review with your Contino trainer. So let's go ahead and insert this one more time again. There's some lubricant already in there, so it goes in actually relatively simple. You see it go in, and it goes past the one depth gauge, but not past the other. And you flip it, you untab it. Recommend, like I said before, is hold it underneath and then just pull it out and remove it. Now, one of the things that is important when you're wearing the device is that the lanyard itself is somewhat secured. So we've got it tucked underneath the penis here, And sometimes over time, the device will want to bend like it is now. And so that's great. When you're putting in a brand new device, sometimes they can be a little bit straight and they don't bend quite as easily until they adopt to your body over a short period of time. But what's important is that you do not want this device to just be held loosely in the underwear or undergarment. With movement, sometimes this lanyard will catch on the cloth or clothing that's being worn, and it will be kind of pulled out a little bit. It can cause a bit of irritation here, but more importantly, every time it moves like this, it may be resulting in a bit of a break in the seal that's inside the penis, and it may be migrating out of the penis. So if the device ends up being migrating out, and as you can see from this, that you can see the head of the penis really just right at the edge of the opening of the penis, or sorry, head of the Contino near the opening of the penis. If this is the case, the device is simply not going to be reducing the amount of leakage. This is way too far away from the body, and it's likely that the device is not going to be effectively blocking the urine from coming out. So as a troubleshooting technique, what you want to do is you want to the extent you can, make sure that the lanyard is somewhat secured. If for some reason some people will tuck the lanyard into their shorts and make it so that there's not a lot of movement. And as you get larger sizes, it's more likely that this device will be staying in place much better. So over the course of the first week or so, you will be increasing the number of sizes, and then ultimately you'll be going, so that was a size 23. We're going to skip a couple here for now. I think this is all the way up to a size 29. We wouldn't be giving you that kind of progression, but the idea is that you'd be starting small and getting a little bit larger every 3 or 4 days. Again, so just to reiterate the mating of the two, you put the key into the top of the inserting tool, run your thumb along the top of it, and then you pop the tab over the edge, and so now it's secured. Now, this particular device is a size 29, and the model actually is designed to be a size 28. 29, so it's not an exact science, given that this is distensible tissue or tissue that's movable. And so when we go to insert it, again, we'll put a little bit of lubricant on this one because the other it's come off a little bit from before, so we'll put a very little bit amount of lubricant. You can see that there's really not that much in there. And then again, the first step would be to lift the penis and have it straight, having it away from your body, obviously. And then you make the insertion in, and the insertion is just at the start. So what you're really doing is just making sure that you're getting lubricant in the meatus and all around the device. And as you can see, as it's lubricating the both surfaces, you can see it's easier to insert. So as you're going in, you can see the insertion, and I can feel the device underneath. I can feel it in these fingertips here as it's being inserted, and you just go back and forth and make the insertion. And as you can see, it's not that difficult of insertion. Again, pop off the tab. I recommend you hold on to the tab if you want, like that, and then remove this device easily, and then store it into this container, which is good for future use. And then again, secure the device by tucking underneath the penis like this, and leave it in a position where the device is clearly within the penile urethra in here. Over time, what will end up happening is you'll probably find that the optimal location for you'll figure that out. Some people pull the device back a little bit like this, and then when you start to feel it really snug, that's when they know that they've got the right location. And that's kind of it. Go about your day and enjoy the benefits of being dry and mobile.